Well, Fiona, Nikki Liz has a chance to continue with her life, and that's a good news. But we need to press harder to see, because there is a lot of people who can't. Can you tell us who is our next guest? Sorry.
Yes, you'll be speaking to Christine Wiles, and she lost her husband. Well, her husband was killed by the Pfizer jab. And as Nikki was saying, as Adi was saying, it's very difficult to prove causation, to fight for the one-off payment. It's very, very difficult. The NHS and the government do not want to admit that the vaccine caused the harm or the death of a loved one. So Christine she knows that the Pfizer jab killed her husband. He died suddenly. He was fit and healthy in his 40s. He used to climb mountains. And he was killed by the jab that he believed, again, was safe and effective. So we'll let you speak to Christine Wiles now, whose husband Pete was killed.
Hello, Christine. Welcome to our show in Croatia.
Hello, thank you for having me.
Thank you for your time, and thank you that you will share experience what you had during pandemic and after receiving COVID vaccine. Can you tell us what happened? What was your experience the last 5 years?
Okay, well, my experience, it was my husband actually who took the vaccine, and unfortunately he died within 7 weeks of taking his injection. His name was Pete Wiles. He was 48 years old, and his mother also died within a few weeks. She died within 4 weeks as well. So we had 2 funerals within 2 months.
Both of them received vaccines?
Yes, yeah. Pete's mother, Jean, she received the AstraZeneca vaccine and died within 4 weeks of a large bleed on the brain. And Peter had his Pfizer vaccine, and he died within 7 weeks of aortic dissection and rupture. And I do strongly believe that there may have been a genetic link between mother and son, and they both sadly died within weeks of their injections.
Sorry for your loss. Can you tell us when you came and discussed with authorities that this happened and that vaccines are the reason? What they told you?
Well, I have had lengthy communication with my coroner, who's also been communicating with the pathologist, but they refused to accept that it was anything to do with the vaccine. They did allow me to send lots of research. They did say that they felt sorry for me, but I think it's the time scale. I think the problem is if it was within days, I think it would have been more acceptable. But because it's weeks, 4 weeks or 7 weeks, as in Pete's case, it just seems too long a gap. But I do believe that that's the amount of time that was needed for the mRNA product to do the damage to Pete's heart. So I'm absolutely convinced, but they won't accept it. And I speak really for thousands of people who don't have the product as the cause of death on the death certificate. That's why I speak out, because I'm a voice really for many of us in our group, our bereaved group, the UK CV family in England. There's lots and lots of us who the coroners and the pathologists are absolutely refusing to accept that it had anything to do with it.
Well, they knew from the start, because we now officially knew that Pfizer in their trials had 1,223 deaths in the first 3 months of the trial. That means they knew that could happen, and they cannot say for sure that it's not from vaccine.
No, they can't. And it's supposed to be based on the balance of probabilities, isn't it? But they still sway it in their favour, not in ours.
Please, can you tell us how your life looks like today after you had so much losses?
Oh, well, yes, our family is very much reduced. My poor sister-in-law, she lost her mother and her brother, and my father-in-law lost his wife and his son, and I lost my husband. So I'm now on my own. I work full-time to pay for all my bills. And yeah, my life, it's nearly 4 years now. It'll be 4 years next month on the 11th of July. And yeah, I'm now alone and very sad. So, I've been traumatized with Pete dying suddenly in the middle of the night. He was my best friend, and he was very strong and fit, was Pete. He had a very active job. Years before, he'd been in the building trade, and he'd been the architect and builder of houses. He was very strong, very intelligent. Even though he didn't listen to me when I advised him not to take the vaccine because I believed it had killed his mother. But he went ahead and had it anyway, sadly, because he thought he was doing the right thing. But yeah, my life, I've been very traumatized. I've been grieving heavily for I would say heavily for 3.5 years. I grieved, but I managed to keep my business going. I have a business, and I've managed to keep it running, and I still have that business, thank goodness, because it's my only way of earning a living and surviving.
Congratulations for that. What was your husband thinking when he decided to go to take vaccine?
He didn't. I tried to convince him that it wasn't a traditional vaccine, that it was an mRNA product, and he'd never heard of it before, so he didn't really take me seriously. And I didn't think that lightning would strike twice in the same place, I've got to admit. I thought he'll probably be okay. I knew lots of people who'd had it. I decided not to have it. I knew lots of people who'd had it and were absolutely fine. So when he insisted, because he thought it was the right thing to do, he thought he was, towing the line like everybody else that had taken it. We were under such pressure, and he was under a bit of pressure in his job because he worked with vulnerable people. So he wasn't forced to, but it was suggested. So he just went ahead. He wasn't worried at all. And I don't know if he had any side effects because he never told me, but he wouldn't have done. He would have been embarrassed to have said. And I think even on the day when he died, he wasn't feeling very well. And he didn't let on that he was worried in the slightest. But I don't think he knew. I don't think he knew that he was at risk of dying. I'm absolutely sure he didn't know. But I do believe that what happened was he had a lot of atherosclerosis in his blood vessels, and as we know, the product causes inflammation in all of your blood vessels, including his mother's blood vessels in her brain, which cause the bleed. So the inflammation causes the product causes the inflammation, and that creates the atherosclerosis, which then brings about the sudden violent death. So, but he didn't know it was coming, and neither did I, because I wasn't worried. He just wasn't very well, and I went to bed. And in the middle of the night, he got up and went downstairs. But I heard an almighty crash at 1 o'clock in the morning, and waking me up, I had a very strong feeling that something really wasn't right. And when I went down into the kitchen, unfortunately, the light was on, and Peter was just lying on the floor, dead. Completely dead. He died instantly. He died standing up, and he was dead before he hit the ground, sadly.
Obviously, he trusted his government. What can be your message to government and to health authorities in your country?
Oh, just the fact that people did trust them. Nobody thought that they meant any harm, or that any harm would come. They absolutely trusted vaccines, absolutely trusted the authorities, believed it was safe and effective. Otherwise, he wouldn't have taken it. But of course, yeah, he did. And so many, I know, almost everybody I know has taken it. So everybody believed it, yes, sadly.
It will be very hard to regain trust in our government, especially in health authorities, in case of some kind of future emergency situation of international concerns.
Yes, yeah, I wouldn't trust again. Oh, do you mind if I just show you a quick photograph of Pete?
Yes, that would be nice.
Let me get it on the up that way.
In the middle, spot yes.
That's me and Pete. So he was a big, strong man. Only 48, and no comorbidities or anything like that. And he was very strong and muscular. So no, I would never trust again now, not after this, no.
Let him rest in peace. Thank you, Christine, for your time.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you.